But what does that do to the dating market itself? If people are going in and we're navigating the landscape of that dating market with different goals, it's already messy. All right, welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lech, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Hit that like and subscribe, and let's party! So we've been talking a lot about family and happiness and community and all of that stuff, and I have a video here. I promise I'm not doing this on purpose, but call me Dom Toretto this week because we are talking family, and the question here is, are childless women unhappy? I think so, but let's see what PBD has to say about it.
Big shout out to Opus and to Indie Film for getting the secret word in the last video. Make sure you make it till the end of the video to get the secret word for this video. And you can get a shout out in the next video.
There are a lot of decisions you're going to make in your life, but a handful of them are going to be big decisions in your life, with one of them being having kids. And there's a debate going on right now. Are women happier if they have kids, or are women happier not having kids?
What do you think? Just right off the bat, before we get into anything, do you think, are women happier when they don't have kids or when they do have kids? Let me know in the comments below.
Chelsea Handler made a video a couple weeks ago going after Adam because Adam said a couple different words, and she said, I am so much happier for not having kids.
45% of working women ages 25 to 45 by 2030 will be non-married, no kids, single.
I'm sorry, but if the child-free joyride I'm on triggers you...
Do you guys remember this?
Here's a hint. If you need daily alpha content to remind you to be alpha, you might not be an alpha.
Oh, okay. So I thought this was the video where she's like, I love not having kids. I get to drink all day, and then I wake up and get high, and then masturbate and go back to sleep. And like, that's cool when you're 23, but you're like 53. Literally get a life. This is a different one, though.
Take it from an alpha. And the truth...
She said, take it from an alpha. All right. I mean, she is more masculine than most men, so let's give her that.
is, studies show that single women live longer and are happier.
Today we're going to break it down.
Are they though? I don't know. I don't think so.
We're going to give the argument being made by those that don't have kids on why they're happier. Then we're going to make the argument for those who have kids and why they're happy. And we'll look at a bunch of stats and we'll see who's right. So if you get value out of this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So let's get right into it. Look, society is going to be selling you on a lot of different ideas. Get married, don't get married. Be poor, be rich. Travel, don't travel. Go and be with hundreds of men and hundreds of women. No, save yourself and only go out there and spend time with the people you love and date a couple different before you get married. Everyone's selling you their philosophies. God forbid you buy the wrong one, you could lose a decade or two of your life. That's simply what it is. So let's look at some of this data here. Argument for not having kids and argument for having kids.
So, I mean, right off the bat, there's the very easy, superficial stuff. If you don't have kids, you have time to do whatever you want. You don't have to pay to feed kids. You don't have to drive them around. You can keep your house clean, all those kinds of things. Then, on the other side, obviously, if you have kids, you have a family to come home to. You have people who love you. You have experiences. You get to relive childhood itself through your children. You get reasons to do there's all of these superficial things that can that would make us think that either you could be happy either way, and you can't. This is not to say that women, you have to do this if you want to be happy, and if you do that, you're going to be unhappy for sure. That's not what we're saying. That's not what we're saying. We're just saying, by and large, by the probabilities on statistics, what is the best route for women generally to go.
Here's HuffPo, why they're saying it's better to not have kids.
Don't really trust them, but all right, let's hear it out.
You like to sleep. You like to have money. You like your freedom. You like to swear. You like your personal space. You don't like the appearance or smell of vomit or poop.
This is literally everything I just said.
You don't like the idea of wiping another person's snot. You like to shut the door while you're in the bathroom. These are some of the kids. They're saying you don't want to have kids. These are some of the things you don't want to deal with. Here's a website called wehavekids.com. Why you shouldn't have kids. Kids are messy. You'll be sleep deprived. It's mentally tiring.
You know what else is messy and might help you, might cause you to be sleep deprived and is mentally tiring? Being a YouTuber. And I'm sure many of your jobs. Maybe not in the same way. It's not messy like I'm cleaning stuff up here, but it's messy in the sense that I don't have clear guidelines of what I am supposed to do, what I'm not supposed to do, what I'm allowed to do, what I'm not allowed to do. I definitely have lost sleep over trying to give you guys the best representation of myself and my message that I want to. And oh my goodness, is it mentally tiring. So, I mean, what are we really talking about?
Everyone takes longer when a kid is involved. It's hard to travel with them. Some good points. Now, let's see the other side. We have Kids.com argument for having kids, to carry on the family name and values, to give and receive unconditional love, to give meaning to life, to create and mold a life, to have a family, to fix the mistakes of their parents, social pressure and expectations, human biology. Medium.com said the following: children make us happier. Avoid dying alone. Children give us hope, help us believe in something bigger. Children force you to become a better version of yourself. Your baby may be the one who saves the world.
That's a big one. Your baby may be the one to save the world. But all of those other things are a little bit, now we're getting to a little bit deeper of a level of what does it actually mean to live with kids or live without kids.
Some of you may be watching and saying, I got 10 more things I would add to this list. Yeah, I totally get it. I'm just giving you an idea here. But let's look at a couple articles on what they're saying. Here's one. Unmarried, childless women are happiest people of all, says expert. If you're a man,
Experts.
you should probably get married. If you're a woman, don't bother. Can you imagine that? If you're a man, you should probably get married. If you're a woman, don't bother. You think someone's going to read that and say, maybe I shouldn't get married? Here's
Not only that, but what does that do to the dating market itself? If people are going in and we're navigating the landscape of that dating market with different goals, it's already messy. But it's already messy, so and it's going to make things even worse. And if you think the dating market is messy as hell, you will find a perfect home at the Indian Jesus Discord server where the party never ends. That's right, 24/7 we are in there hanging out. And after every live stream, we go in for the after panel party where we are not stuck behind the keyboard, but actually on screen. You are there with me and everybody else. You can cam up if you want to. You don't have to. Either way, it is a great time. Come and join. It is free. Check the link in the description of the pinned comment now.
Here's another one. Half of women have not yet had a child by age 30 for the first time ever, figures show. Women born in 1990 were the first cohort ever where half were not mothers by their 30th birthday. Now, if you're part of that camp, you're like, oh, thank God, we're making progress. Some of you may say, what are we talking about here? What else is the purpose for not having kids? Are you kidding me? You don't want to have kids? That's the data telling you. Watch this next one here.
Yeah, that's literally what I said. Like, if that's not what you're after, then what are we talking about here? If it's just the superficial stuff, then maybe you're not ready to have this conversation. If you're not looking at the deeper aspects of what it does it mean to live the rest of your life as a parent or the rest of your life with no immediate family like that, then maybe you're not ready to have this conversation. And if you're not ready to have a conversation, you're certainly not ready to have the children. But that doesn't mean that that day won't come.
1 in 4 projecting childlessness among today's young women, meaning 1 in 4 is probably going to have a kid. 3 out of 4 is probably not going to have any kids. That's the direction we're going today. But let's look at some other numbers, because when I retweeted Chelsea Handler's video when she said what she said about men and Alpha Motivation Zero, I retweeted and said, here's a study from University of Pennsylvania saying childless women were 46% more likely to be highly depressed than mothers. But then we said, well, okay, let's play devil's advocate, because maybe people are happier that don't have kids. Maybe it is something.
Maybe.
Why don't we look at and break down 4 different stats? Married with children, women who are married but they're childless, women who are unmarried with children, and those who are unmarried and childless.
So now we're throwing marriage into the mix, and we're going to be able to compare the childless people who are married and the childless people who are unmarried. I'm going to guess that the unmarried and childless are going to be at the bottom. Then you're going to have then what would it be? Probably married unmarried and childless at the bottom, unmarried with children, then married without children, and married with children probably at the top. I'm just going to guess. I don't know. I'm single. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't have any kids. So I'm just guessing. What do you think? Before we go on, go in the comments and let me know which of these 4 groups do you think is going to be the happiest? Let me know.
Are they happier when they're younger, and as they age, they get more depressed and miserable? Or are they unhappy when they're younger, and when they age, hey, I don't have any kids, I'm just happier now? Let's look what the stats tells us. Here's what we're looking at. Ages 18 to 34, married with children, 30 of them were happy.
Bingo!
All right. Okay. So, okay. I didn't get it. Perfect. All right. Let's let him go through
But
it first.
married childless, 33 of them were happy, which means those who were married and didn't have any kids, they had more time with their spouse, they were actually happier than those who were married with kids.
That was the one I got caught up. I wasn't sure if it was going to be married with children or married without children. I wasn't sure whether that was going to be the top, but very clearly marriage is a big factor in happiness. So it makes sense now that if children are, bringing you some sort of happiness, but the happiest you can be is married without children. I don't think that it's necessarily going to follow for unmarried people, because those people are not married and therefore would need more of that emotional support and community from their children. So it's going to be married without children, married with children, unmarried with children, and unmarried without children at the bottom. We saw the chart, but I wasn't paying attention to it, so I'm not cheating, I promise.
Then you have unmarried with children. 12% of them said they were happy.
I knew it.
And unmarried childless, only 7%.
So yeah, let's take a good look at it here. We again, the top is married and childless. That's just you and your spouse living the high life. You got your money. You don't have any mess. You have somebody to share your life with. You can travel the world. But very close behind is married with children, where you have a typical family, typical type of experiences. So that shows that, if you're married, then whether or not you have children is not going to be hugely different. But then we go down to the unmarried with and without children. There's a bit more of a significant change. It's almost twice as much if you have children. I do think it's important to point out that the biggest thing is whether or not you're married, not whether or not you have children, which, makes sense that married and childless would be at the top. Very interesting. All right.
Said they were happy. So in this cohort, the happiest ones were who? Married, but no kids. So the argument is, go find your love, but don't go have kids. It's too much work. Now let's see what happens as you age in life. 35 to 50.
I missed that part. Okay, so that was only 18 to 34. All right, so now we're moving up to 35 to 54.
Married with children. 28% said they were happy. Married childless fell to second place now. 24% said they were happy.
So that's what I was thinking. When I was thinking about this, I was thinking about this on the long term. And so 18 to 34, that's going to be in the beginning, but 35 to 54, that's going to be where you're most of, it's not like you didn't know what it was like when you were, married and with kids before you were 35. They're just measuring it when you're 35. So on a long enough time scale, it does in fact make sense that married with children would be the happiest subset. Interesting.
Unmarried with children, 11% said they were happy. Unmarried childless, 12% said they were happy. Now comes the next phase, 55 and up, because as you're 55 and up, you can't be dating. You don't have as many options as you did when you were in your 20s. Body looked good, everything was perfect, maybe even in your 30s. You look great, you're going out, everybody's still flirting with you. Life changes a little bit at 55. Let's see what the numbers tell us now. You ready?
Right, let's see.
Married with children, 25% happy. Married childless, massive drop off, 14%. Unmarried, but with children, 11%, and unmarried, childless, went to last place.
Wow. Let's run that. Let's just look at the chart again here and look at the difference that once you are a senior citizen, if you don't have children, it's basically saying you will be unhappy, married or not, you will be unhappy. Or you're not going to say, you're very happy. You will not say that you are very happy unless you are married with children on the long term. On a long enough timeline, being married with children, statistically, according to the Institute of Family Studies, is to get married and have children. Surprise, surprise.
11%, and unmarried, childless, went to last place. So the happiest went from married with kids, then those who are married without kids, but it's a big drop off from 25 to 14, then unmarried with children, and unmarried childless. So when you look at this data, what do you think about? The argument could be made from the other side to say, you see, even the person that's married childless is happier than the person that's unmarried with child. Okay, so don't have marriage out of wedlock or something like that. Okay, fine. Maybe you can make that argument. Great. On the other side could be, do you see what happens? as you age. What used to be important to you in your 20s, to go party, hang out, go to clubs left and right, date men, date this, date that, that is not going to be your priority in your 50s. Things that drive you in your 20s are not going to drive you as much in your 30s, then 40s, then 50s, then 60s. Life changes, you change, I change, we all change. My dad's best friend today, he's 81 years old, is his granddaughter, my 23-month-old daughter, Brooklyn. They're together glued. If you ask my dad what was his priority 40 years ago, it's a very different thing than 60 years ago when he was in his 20s, right? Life.
I think that is a beautiful, beautiful story. I think the story of those numbers really tells a story. I do that a lot. Why do I always do that? Start a sentence and use the same word. But those numbers tell a beautiful story of how powerful it can be to have family. And I know I've been focusing a lot on family this week. I know I didn't, intend that, but I guess it really shows that family and community are that important to a flourishing society and to a happy individual. So what did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Once again, this has been Morty, and I have been your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Check us out live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and special treat for you to make it for the end of the video. Put the secret word in the comments and you can get a shout out in the next video. The secret word for this video is child. Child. Put that in the comments for a shout out in the next video. Until then, we are out of here. Peace.